Monday Night Raw, the go-home show for WrestleMania, which is of course this Sunday. It's been a few weeks since I've done a Raw review. So let's dive in, shall we? We started with Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey, Triple H and Steph. They had an interview kind of segment hosted by Jonathan Coachman for some reason. Not sure why, but never mind. The back and forth was fine. Once again, for me, it's Ronda Rousey's delivery, and it's just not. There's something about it doesn't seem right at all. Not in a she's different for a good reason way. In a way that it doesn't seem right. Like it's not being done properly. Just the way. I don't know how can I describe it. The way she talks, it's so lackadaisical. She doesn't know how. She doesn't know how to talk in the promo way. But the biggest takeaways from the sparring in the verbal sparring match was Stephanie mentioning that Ronda Rousey doesn't know how to take a loss. Because you know anything about Ronda Rousey when she lost to that, was it Holly Holmes in the UFC? Like Ronda Rousey was ready to fucking kill herself, so that was quite dark from Steph actually. But Ronda Rousey did fire back, and she had a good line because she asked Steph which if she's right or left-handed, and Steph said right, and Ronda says, "Oh, because I want to know, which arm not to break." Well, she says, "I want to know which arm not to rip out your socket, so you can still write checks." But before she could get to the punchline, the way she delivered it, like she said it, and then the crowd sort of erupted. The crowd seem much more behind Ronda this week than they have been before. They've definitely warmed to her, which is a good thing. Like I said, I'm not been impressed with her so far, but I still want to see her succeed. I don't want to see someone come in and fail, really. Unless it's someone I passionately dislike, which I don't. There's not really anyone. But Ronda Rousey is fine so far. I'm eager as fuck to see what she's like in the ring. But the way this promo went, there was a point where they, for some reason, had to stand up and take a picture for whatever fucking reason. So they get from behind the table. There's two tables set up, so you know someone was going to go through it. And the way it was done was quite good. Steph and Ronda were face to face. Triple H and Kurt were face to face. Steph and Ronda sort of got into it a bit closer, and as Kurt separated them, Triple H smashed him on the back there with a microphone. Kurt rolls out of the ring. That's Kurt done. And Ronda Rousey, in Kurt's defence, she grabs fucking Triple H by the throat. She's like full on choking him. And then Steph sort of comes behind her and like picks her up and kind of, it's more of a placement than a slam, if I'm honest with you. Places her, let's say, through one of the tables. But like Ronda's selling here was fucking dreadful. Like there was a scene where Steph is stood there, like still shouting at Ronda, and Ronda's like Ronda is lying on the floor, like in the broken table, and she's just lying there, like holding her stomach for some reason, looking at Steph, like she's actively, like as Steph's walking, she's actively like looking at Steph. It's like you're the baddest woman on the planet. Kick some fucking ass. I mean, the only thing that Ronda has done Steph at this point is that fucking god-awful Samoan drop or whatever the hell it was. That's the only thing that's happened so far. But you know, if the only bump, if you can call it that, the one he wanted to take was to put her through that one table and that'd be it. Steph should have got it out the ring straight away. Or like, let's say she goes through the table, then Kurt's back up and gets in the ring, then Triple H and Steph are out the ring. Other than that, like you know, Steph needs to be giving Ronda a fucking beating. Like she goes through that table, and Triple H has got to pull Steph off her, because that's the only advantage Steph's going to get is when Ronda's gone. But just the way she went through the table, it was. Well, it wasn't. I'm still curious to see how it's going to go. I'm still looking forward to seeing Kurt Angle because I love Kurt Angle, and I just don't know what Ronda's going to be like on this. Not that I don't think she'll have to do much selling in the match, but I don't Yeah, that going for the table and just the way she was just lying there and just looking at Steph, it was really weird. You can, I mean, I don't think I've seen anyone so painfully green ever that I can recall. But never mind. Um, Moving on to the next segment. Bailey took on Sonya Deville. This was just purely building up for the women's battle royal match at WrestleMania. There's not a lot you can do when you're trying to build up a multi-woman match, really. The match between these two was good enough. Bailey got the win. Absolution after the match bit, it's knocked out of Bailey. Sasha Banks comes down for the save for some reason, even though they had a falling out last week. And after the match, Sasha saved Bailey, and Sasha demands that Bailey raises a hand. I think kind of affirming that Sasha's the heel because up to this point, you could argue that Bailey was being quite heelish to a degree, but I suppose he just cemented the fact that it's Sasha. And for once, rather than being a little bitch about it, like Bailey's like, no, I'm not raising her hand, and starts beating snot out of Sasha, which was nice to see. It's like Bailey growing a bit of a backbone and standing up for herself a bit. And Absolution came in the ring and they dominated and beat on that Sasha and Bailey, and then they escaped. So, but yeah, there's not really a lot to say about it really because they're trying to continue the feud between Bailey and Sasha, which makes sense, and they're trying to hype up a battle royal, which is never an easy thing to do really. And the next part was by far my favourite part of the match, part of the show, sorry, and that was the match between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, and it was about a 20-25 minute, whatever it was, spectacle. It was fucking brilliant. It was probably the best singles match on Raw, maybe this year, definitely. Yeah, definitely this year. Yeah, for a long while. This was a great single match. I mean, there was a few good single matches in that gauntlet match, but it tied into that's a whole other thing in it. I can't really explain the match other than I'd say go and watch it because it was really good. It was a really good match. There's one spot worth mentioning, and that's in the universe. That's when Seth and Balor had the Universal title match, and Seth did the buckle bomb onto the outside. That's what fucked Finn's shoulder. They did something similar here, but they sort of referenced it. But this time, Finn countered and ended up being Finn doing something to Seth, and yeah, really good match. And The Miz was on commentary, and I don't know if The Miz intentionally or purposely, but he might have accidentally made himself quite a babyface in this promo, because it was amazing on commentary, and sometimes because of while the match was going on, I mean the amount of time that The Miz was banging on about his new daughter, it for me at times it kind of took away from the match because you're watching a match, it was like doing two things at once. You're listening to someone, what's the word, gloat or whatever about the kid. No, it wasn't gloating so much. It was, I can't think what the word is, but it was showering verbal affection to his kid and trying to watch a match at the same time. It was, but yeah, the way Miz was talking about it, it was being so complimentary to Finn and Seth as well in the match. I don't think he slagged him off once. And even when, Michael Cole or someone asked him a question like, "Oh, it's been 3 or 4 weeks since you've been in the ring, Miz. Do you not think that you're going to be a bit rusty, or these guys have still been competing?" And even in response to Michael Cole or whoever it was still very, very calm. It's still very chilled out. It wasn't the attacking, reactive sort of Miz. It was, whether that's some kind of character development or something. Because he kept saying that his daughter, having a kid changes you. And after the match, there wasn't a run-in, an attack. It was just, Seth got the win, his hands raised, gets onto the announce table and raises his title. There wasn't any, it was interesting. Great match. The commentary was with Miz was really good. You might have accidentally made himself a babyface, so it might be a triple threat. If someone's watching this that hasn't seen Raw before, they would think that Miz is also a good guy. But anyway, so yeah, all round good, really good part of the show. And it was announced that the pre-show it will consist of both the Battle Royals, which is a fucking huge mistake, and the Cruiserweight title match, which is, it's kind of a mistake, but literally WrestleMania is so fucking stacked this year. I don't know what else I would have done. I know I've said this before, but 2 Battle Royals on one show is too many anyway, I think. And the fact that they're both on the pre-show, I think, is really going to underwhelm the pre-show. If I want to be honest with you, I mean the Cruiserweights are going to have to, you know, the Cruiserweights could, you know, Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali, they could easily, you know, put in a contender for match of the night on the pre-show. You know, but in the middle of the Battle Royals, I imagine. But I think on 2 Battle Royals in the space of 2 hours, I think. But what, you know, I suppose on the plus side, get them out of the way. That's another positive. Get them out of the way. Get them fucking done with. Get them gone. But there you go. Backstage, Kurt Angle talking to Heyman, and Kurt just asked for peace. He just wanted Heyman just to not rile up Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns, you know, he wants to come out and hurt Brock, which Heyman found funny, which I did as well, to be fair. And that was it, really. Heyman just keep it chill in your promo. It's quite fun. And after that, the Bar took on. They didn't take on. They called out Braun Strowman because they still want to know who his tag team partner is. And Braun told us that his tag team partner is going to be his brother. So Braun goes to the Braun's gone to the back, and he comes out as his brother called Brains in a fucking big massive shirt and specs. So yeah, we still no close. There was like Braun come down to the ring. There's a bit of a beat down, and the tag champs escape. But only noteworthy thing is that there's nothing new to note about. We're no closer to knowing who his tag team partner is, and the fact that they're leaving it to WrestleMania leads me to believe it's going to be a kind of big name / surprise, and I'm really worried it's going to be the Big Show. I've done a video regarding the tag titles and Braun, who I think his partner should be. So you want to check that out, then be more than welcome to. But yeah, I think if they're leaving it to WrestleMania, it's going to be somebody big. Not necessarily physically, but someone noteworthy, should we say. Right, and the next bit of action, we had just Matt Hardy, Goldust promo, hopped at the Battle Royal. Not what we can say, it was fine. Fine is the best way to describe it. And speaking of fine, Alexa Bliss and Mickie James did one of them stupid promos where you've got the words that just pop up, you know, random words. Not random, obviously, they're the key points in the promo. I don't really like them promos, but Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. Alexa Bliss is fantastic as a heel at the minute. She really is the fucking arsehole bitchy. But I would like to get some justification and some reasoning behind Mickie James' actions by her wanting to help Alexa, because that really seems to have come out of nowhere. There's been so little build to it, especially before that Mickie James was in a rivalry with Alexa based around the fact that Alexa's calling Mickie James old, and now Mickie James is best friends with Alexa. And the promo basically consisted of Alexa and Mickie calling Nia Jax fat. That's basically the gist of it. But yeah, Alexa Bliss is doing fantastic at the minute, if you ask me. And although I'm not a big fan of Nia Jax, they've built this story really well, gradually, which is nice. And the fact that Alexa will probably have Mickie James in a corner against Nia, even the odds a little bit, so it should be a good match. Cena then cuts a promo next about The Undertaker, of course. And one thing I will say is that he did acknowledge other matches that he could be involved in that he's not involved in. And he said, you know, the Battle Royal, Braun Strowman's tag partner. And he says basically he doesn't want to be in them matches because he doesn't want to hold anybody else back. You know, another superstar. And he actually mentions he doesn't want to hold back another potential, you know, another full-time wrestler. by him taking that spot, which I was like, fair enough. It makes logical, complete sense why he's doing that. And he said he's called out the Undertaker because no one loses in that match. There's no spot being taken, although technically that's a spot on the WrestleMania card that they were taking up. But let's not get into that, shall we? It was pretty much rinse and repeat of what he said the past few weeks. It wasn't as Super Cena. It was a good promo, but it wasn't super scenery in the way where it fucking pisses me off. It was a good promo. At one point, he plays the crowd like a fucking puppet. He really does. He demands that they chant for the Undertaker, that they sing for him, and obviously they do. And he once again just tries to bully Undertaker into responding to him. You know, he makes comments about his balls and shit like that, but Undertaker didn't show up. And I imagine they will do something with Taker and Cena at WrestleMania. Maybe it might even be an impromptu match. You just don't know. Cena's, I don't know, being interviewed and he gets in the ring. I'm not going to start booking it. I don't know, but then again, WrestleMania doesn't need it. It doesn't need Cena. It doesn't need Undertaker this year. It really doesn't. It's so fucking stacked. Kurt and Roman Reigns backstage. Pretty much the same thing with Paul Heyman. Kurt just wants Roman to calm down and not react to what Brock says. And then Roman makes a comment about Kurt selling his Olympic gold medals and his balls at a pawn shop or something. Seemed really unfair to Kurt, poor old Kurt. But whatever. And then Elias had a squash match with Heath Slater after getting his song cut short. And from what I understand, I imagine that we're probably going to get some sort of concert from Elias at WrestleMania rather than a match. Which, to be fair, I'm actually fine with. You know, his promos, his singing, and he's not got the best voice, has it? But that promo he does the best part of his game, really. So, yeah, I'm fine with that. We're treated to a nice little funny bit backstage. Braun Strowman's walking around and he's confronted by Kurt Hawkins, of all people. Kurt Hawkins is wearing a shirt that says "Braun, pick me" or something along those lines. And he tells Braun that he wants to be his tag partner for WrestleMania. And basically Braun responds by chucking him for a fucking wall. Just picks him up, just grabs him, lobs him for a wall, smashes the wall, and makes a comment about that being his big break or something. But yeah, it was funny, and I enjoyed it. But that's what saw Braun all night. So his tag partner, unless it be announced on WWE on WWE.com or some shit like that, which I really doubt. I suppose we'll find out at WrestleMania. And this was followed by a Nia Jax interview, which can be summarised with it was fine, and it was emotional, and it was like a self-empowering, Nia's not going for sympathy. She's going for what's the word? She doesn't want people to feel sorry for her, but she's fighting for people who you get bullied, basically, I suppose, is the best way of looking at it. And like I said more than once, I'm not a big fan of Nia, but they've done this story really well, and it'll be satisfying to watch Nia Jax beat the shit out of Alexa Bliss at some point in WrestleMania. So I suppose that they've done the job there. Whether she'll win or not, I don't know. But either way, it'll be satisfying when Alexa gets a beat down. Speaking of Alexa, she and Mickey had a tag match against Asuka and Dana Brooke for some fucking strange reason. Why Asuka is still on Raw is fucking beyond me. It really is. When she announced that she was facing Charlotte, she should just never appeared on Raw again. There's literally no reason why Asuka is still on Raw. Absolutely no reason. And why she's teamed with Dana Brooke for fucking God knows why. This is by far the stupidest part of the show. This was absolutely fucking ridiculous. Asuka, of course, won. We've got I think she tapped out Mickie James. But Mickie James is just there at the minute, just as Alexa's, if Alexa's side needs someone to do the job, Mickey's there. But after the match, Alexa and Mickey, had a go on Oscar, and Nia came down for the save. Not really the save, but more because she wants to get her hands on Alexa Bliss. But they're both. Alexa ran out. Mickey tried to get her hands on Nia, but she was going after Alexa. Didn't work out. Mickey got Samoan dropped or whatever it was. I don't really remember. And that was it. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to Nia finally getting her hands on Alexa Bliss. I mean, they've wrestled before a few months ago, but this one's definitely more emotionally charged, and there's definitely more of a vendetta between the two now. And we ended the show with Brock and Paul and Roman. It was your typical Heyman promo. It was, of course, really good. And he mentioned that if Brock doesn't win, you'll never see him and Brock on Monday Night Raw again. He just said that, he's telling us that Roman's going to lose. There's no two ways about it. Roman is basically Brock's bitch, and bitch is kind of Roman's, impact word. So I don't think Roman's going up about Paul Heyman using his word. That Roman comes out, and to keep the peace, Kurt Angle has sent out a handful of superstars to block the entrance ramp, and I was really pissed off to see that. I understand the logic why he's done it, so I'm not upset that there's superstars there. I suppose they could have used security, but that might not be enough for these two titans. But I was pissed off to see that Sheamus and Cesaro were used as the defensive wall. Because, they fucking tag champions. They shouldn't be out there doing that sort of low-level jobber shit, but... So when Roman comes down, he wants to get to Brock. The guys won't let him. And Roman just basically says, well, guys, are you going to stick up for this part-time bastard? And they're like, you know what? No, we're not. And they make a fucking... the fucking Jesus River just separates. And Roman comes down to the ring. And Brock initially runs out. Brock initially does a runner, but gets back in the ring. Brock takes about, I think it was 5 Superman punches, and then out of nowhere he just picks Roman up and hits him with the F5, and Roman's down for the rest of the segment. Just really just pushing forward the fact that the F5 is devastating. But I think what would be more interesting would be, I know they've spent like a year building up the spear, Roman spear in Brock's F5 that is it's the key winner. But I think because we're so in tune to see, that an easy like crowd pop is to see him kick out of a finisher. I think it's not going to be as surprising when obviously we get an F5 kicked out of or a spear kicked out of, because of, apart from this one year they've been building up to it, it's still done in every other match. So I think it'd be nicer to see that the match between them ends with just one spear or just one F5 or something after all this build of how strong the move is. But won't do that. There'll be about 2 or 3 spears that end the match, or F5, I imagine, either way whoever's going to win it. But yeah, that was Monday Night Raw. And I think on the whole, they did a good job getting me hyped for WrestleMania. And the Rollins Finn Balor match was easily my favourite part. The steepest part was Oscar being in a tag match. Cena was fine. Obviously, the way they're hyping the Battle Royals, there's not really much more that they can do about that. So you can't. They've got to mention it, and they can't just give you a video package week in and week out. So, and this, Ronda's weird selling technique of being okay but still looking at it is weird. But I don't think we're not going to have to worry about Ronda selling at WrestleMania, I don't think, but it's after WrestleMania we might have to worry about it a little bit. But yeah, so good show overall. Looking forward to SmackDown. Looking forward to WrestleMania. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down, and come being Jobber. Subscribe to the channel because Jobber Club is welcome to all. Goodbye.